member for Burnaby Lougheed.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. As I'm saying this, I believe that one day I will miss saying thank you, Honorable Speaker, as I remember the privilege of having served in this important institution as a representative for my community in Burnaby Lougheed with the trust of my constituents, family, friends, and supporters since 2017. Time flies. I was only 33 at the time. I also want to recognize my privilege in living and settling on the beautiful unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples as a newcomer, a former international student who came here on my own when I was 17. This has been like a dream. If you told me the 17-year-old Taiwanese girl who packed 2 suitcases, crying my eyes out as I was saying goodbye to my mom on a typical West Coast day that was raining, and actually right here in Burnaby, near Burnaby Mountain, that, hey, one day you're going to be the MLA for this beautiful community where you stand, I would tell you, you're dreaming. But that dream has come true. And throughout all the years, I've been thinking, how? How do I have the privilege to have become the representative for our community? And I know the main reasons. It is thanks to many, many people, including my constituents and supporters, who have given me their trust. Trust is critical. Trust can empower and transform people in our lives. So I want to begin by thanking my biggest supporters in life, my parents, who trusted me to come here on my own, learn English, start a new life with all their love and support, along with all my family members, my late grandmother, my brother, uncle, everyone who I miss so much over the years, but know that they have always been right here with me in my heart. I want to thank, of course, my favorite little man in this universe, my son, Yoan, for trusting his mommy. I remember when he was little, he would see me on TV or in photos with other kids when I visited childcare centers. Many times before I left home for work, he would ask, "Mommy, are you going to play with other kids?" And I would tell him how much I love him and how special he is to me. I'll also never forget the day I picked him up from school after I left my cabinet position. And he said, "Sorry you're not a minister, but I'm happy that we can stay home after school." I can never thank him enough for being so patient and supportive with my work over the years. I also want to thank my partner, Dale, who has been such a light in my life, especially during the many ups and downs of the past year and a half, for always trusting me in my abilities to create a new journey ahead. As someone who has worked pretty much my whole entire career in politics, this transition can feel scary. But the trust that I have from my partner, family, and friends has really given me the confidence to move forward. And to all my friends and everyone who supported me during both my life and political journeys, sorry it's hard to name you all, but you know who you are, as I often say that I didn't come to Canada with family, but I have so many chosen families. And of course, I need to thank my constituency advisors. Many have worked with me for years, including Derek Sahota, Jessica Wei, Lynn Hardy, Gerving Dalawo, and Paul Dason. Thank you for always putting up with my very creative, bold ideas, project, and mischiefs. Thank you for always trusting me, and I know we'll be friends for life. And gosh, I also miss our former childcare team members so much, and I'm so happy that I can't even say the name of the first amazing person I worked with from childcare, because she's now the Attorney General for BC, who I cannot thank enough for building the start of the Childcare BC plan with me. And of course, all the outstanding former team members, Sherry Wilson, Jesslyn Aurora, James Infante, Chantil Vild, Lindsay Ba, Serena Tebble, Patrick Meehan, Mia Heel, Tui Pan, Alora Sandhu, and Gurjeevan Sidhu. Thank you all for all your hard work in building a new childcare system together, knowing that access to childcare and early learning is a right and a necessity for building a more equitable, sustainable society, both socially and economically, just like public education. And by the way, our childcare team has welcomed 5 babies in just a few years. And even our former office mate, my dear friend and sister, the Minister for Emergency Management and Climate Readiness, now has her beautiful baby Azalea. And of course, I also want to thank many of the incredible public service professionals I've worked with, along with many working in the BC legislature in various capacities and positions, for your critical support for the work we do. I also need to give a shout out to childcare advocates like Sharon Gregson, Lanil Anderson, Rita Chipnosky, Emily Golick, Deb Bryan, Charlene Gray, Sandra Menzer, and many, many more who I have so much respect for their tireless advocacy and work for childcare. Thank you. And looking back my journey, I also need to give my big, big thanks to my former campaign team, volunteers, and all the supporters for getting me elected, including my campaign managers and co-managers, Larnie De Los Reyes, Amber King, and Jocelyn Aurora. I love you, and I appreciate you so much. I know many of us will stay friends, sisters, and brothers for life. And to my constituency association executives, who are all strong activists and advocates for issues that matter to our community. I am so glad to have had the opportunity to learn from all of you over the years, including on challenging issues like addressing the risks of the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion that still threatens the safety of thousands of our residents in our community. While I'm no longer your MLA, please know that I will always be a neighbor to advocate for our community together. I also want to thank the trust of all the local nonprofits, community members, labor unions, local businesses, and friends from diverse communities like the Taiwanese, Chinese language communities that have always given me so much support, as I had the honor to have served as the first Taiwanese-born Canadian appointed to be the BC cabinet. And also the South Asian and Punjabi communities, who's always treated me like family, like Uncle Mike Sandhu, and the very honorable Speaker of the legislature who sees me as a rebellious daughter, along with the Korean, Filipino, Afghanistan, Ethiopian, Turkish, Indonesian, Latin American, and Japanese communities, and many more. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your trust that has transformed my life. And as I reflect on our collective journey to this legislature, a place so rich in history and progress, but also with many challenges, mistakes, and much more work ahead to ensure our province is a more equitable place for all. I remember a single mom I met at the doorsteps who said that she would love to vote for me, but she worked as a hairstylist in Richmond, where she had to commute from her neighborhood in Burnaby with limited transit options. And other than her financial stress, one of her children has extra support needs, so she has to constantly balancing work and caregiving responsibilities. For many of us who can easily find the time to drive to the polls and vote, voting was a difficult task for her. And while I have the privilege to run for office, knock on doors, and fundraise, many people are simply just trying to survive day to day and would not have the opportunity to run for office, advocate for themselves, or fully realize their potential due to poverty, generational trauma, health, mental health, and many other reasons. And they all deserve our support and attention, but their voice are often not at the table. I believe that the best policies are made by people with lived experiences. But I also see how the BC legislature still, unfortunately, remains such a privileged place to be. So while we continue to work on achieving better representation, I hope we can at least start by acknowledging our own privileges and the responsibilities we carry to represent everyone from our community. And remember, we are only temporary seat holders. Reflecting on my 18 years of work in politics, I have had many tough times as a younger woman of color, once a foreign worker facing discriminations and bias. While I've always been really grateful and recognizing my privilege in doing this work, I realized for years I was trying so hard to fit in and to be included in an existing framework that is so influenced under the colonial patriarchal system. And I hope one day we can truly create a space that is more caring, trauma-informed, and equitable for people with diverse abilities and socioeconomic backgrounds. So after thanking all the people who have given me their trust, I also want to give my trust to my colleagues, especially Premier Eby as our leader, of course, and everyone from all sides of the House who are genuine and principled. I hope you can always put people first and make the best decisions possible to lift everyone up, such as making $10 a day childcare a reality, taking concrete actions against gender-based violence, always standing up for human rights, and investing in core services like housing, health, mental health, climate action, and public education. And remember, the only time we have to do this work is now. As I give my thanks to everyone and say my goodbyes, I hope we can keep working hard and always, always take actions now to create a more equitable society where everyone can utilize their full potential and dare to dream. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, member, and stay close.